Today is Wednesday, April the 3rd. We're taking a look at the ES mini futures, and this orange area here represents the overnight low. This yellow line represents the overnight high, or the Globex high and the Globex low, and you can see that the day started out moving up, exceeding the overnight high, and then right around noon we started to tail off really quite rapidly, never coming down to the Globex low and finishing the day a little bit up from the previous day, I think about 5 points. The McClellan index, not including today, is starting to creep back down to 0. So it may be that we're going to be, as I mentioned earlier, something like this period here, where we're just going to chop, where we're going to have days of mixed advancers and decliners. If we look at FinViz, which I don't have up, let's just take a quick look at FinViz here and see what today's advances and decliners were. We can see advancers led decliners by 57% to 37%. Now let's just go to some of our charts. And let's start with the S&P. The S&P finished the day in a narrow range, not at the top, not at the bottom, just in the middle. On our weekly basis, we still see that our price has exceeded the cloud, but as we've been saying for the last 3 days, the Chiku span is what's hurting us right here, and it's running into this candle. So it really needs to break up to this level here, about 28.85 before the end of the week, and then next week just creep up in this gap here in between the bottom of this candle and the top of this candle. Then the Chiku span will be out in the clear, and then we'll have an opportunity to move on to the highs of 29.32. If we can't do that, if we're going to stay down this low, we might come down and test the bottom of this cloud again. But that's all part of the chop that I think that we're going to see for a while, because news about China discussions is just that. It's news, it's rumors. One day somebody says the talks are getting better. Another day somebody says, well, there really haven't been any talks. So who knows? Apple, on a weekly basis, continues its move up into the cloud. And we're looking right here at this point on the Chiku span, where last week we hit the cloud. We hit the 200 moving average and we bounced up. We certainly want it to stay higher, because resistance of the Chiku span will likely match resistance at the top of the cloud, but the direction for Apple seems to be going up. Gold, I pointed out on a tweet today, there's some interesting things going on in the relationship between gold and the S&P 500. Here we see gold, the colored candles, and here we see the S&P 500. Let's just expand this a little bit. So we can see that when the S&P 500 started its down move here, gold was doing an up move, or the gold miners were doing an up move. Quite the opposite. So people are running from the S&P and they're moving into more safer things like utilities, bonds, gold, and the gold miners. Then we had a cross where the S&P started, continued to go down, but the gold started to, this is not the chart that I wanted you to look at. This has gotten a bit out of whack here, but anyhow, I think I can tell you on a bigger basis, what we're seeing now is that when the S&P just did this move here to go up, what did we see in gold? We saw gold go down, then we saw gold go up, and then we saw gold go down. So here it had a contrary move with the rest of the market. Now we've got gold going up, and we've got the market having taken a break, but now continuing to move back up. So you've got that discrepancy with the gold miners moving up and the market moving up. We're not used to seeing that. Caterpillar is, it had bad news today. Deutsche Bank said that they thought that they were going to run into difficulty with too much inventory. I tweeted a link to TipRanks and what that particular analyst has said about Caterpillar in the past. So the market basically blew off what he said. Had not too bad a day, a range of $2.14, but still finished up over 140. So if we look at Caterpillar today on the 15-minute basis, the market shrugged off Deutsche Bank's down recommendation, dropped with the market the rest of the day, and moved up a little bit more with the market to finish the day. So still remaining over 140, still on track for hitting the Gartley target of 149.52, but we still have not filled this gap back here. We won't fill it until we hit 141 almost exactly. So when we hit 141, we'll have filled that gap, and we can expect a bit of rejection. We can expect to see some sellers at 141 who are the short-term players who are swing trading this and looking at 141 as a target. Next on the list, we have Intel. Intel had an awesome day today and does appear to be on its way to its high of 57.03. So if we look at Intel on a weekly basis, this is where we're going. The Chiku span is free and clear. The price is moving up. We do have a flat candle to provide some magnetism, some magnetic pull down, but I don't think it's going to happen to any great extent until we hit our target of 57, the previous high. Then I fully expect to move back down. WDC, on the daily basis, we were looking yesterday at the Chiku span trying to squeeze between these two candles, and that's what it did. And that's what we hope to see on Apple, as I was pointing out earlier. We saw yesterday, the Chiku span ended right up underneath this candle here. We needed to have it break higher than this candle, which is what it did. So now we have a free Chiku span that has the 200-day moving average above, and we have price with the 200-day moving average. So we can now move our next alert up to the 200-day moving average, and our target is 54.48. So on a daily basis, it looks like that's attainable. On the weekly chart, it looks like resistance is going to come right here. And where is that? Look where it is, 54.48. So the Chiku span next week would have resistance right here, the bottom of this candle, 54.48. So that's where we're heading. And we're back to the S&P. So that's today's summary. Thank you.